How you doing? Just thought I'd come in for a little bit of chit chat, and I figured while we were conversing, I'd just go ahead and put some makeup on. How about that? Not quite sure how this is going to go. I wanted to start out by talking about the foundations that I do have. I've got 3 of them, and tell you what I think. I wrote some stuff down. I've got this Fit Me, and it is number 220. It also says 20H101 by Maybelline. I really, really like this foundation a lot, and it is my go-to. What I did not like, I know this is going to sound kind of weird. There's 2 reasons why I don't like this particular product. This is the Revlon Age Defying with DNA Advantage. The reason why I didn't like it is because it's kind of thin and it breaks down. And this is going to sound strange. It has a moldy scent to it. It just smells, at least this particular bottle smells pretty bad. Never had that experience in my on and off makeup life. You know how it is, ladies. We love makeup. Then all of a sudden we hate it and we want to throw it all away because we get sick and tired of having to put it all together at times. Believe it or not, I happen to like this right here. It's the LA Colors brand. And let me see here. LA Colors Liquid Makeup BLM 313 in a tan color. I love pumps a lot better than having to open a bottle, you know, having to open it and dab it onto one of these doohickeys right here, because I apply the foundation basically with my face, and if I need to spread it around a little bit under my eye, we use the thin portion of the mini wedge. Am I a makeup diva, pro guru? Heck to the no. I'm just someone through trial and error has been trying to figure out how to get all these different colors on my face. Here, it looks almost white, right there. Then here, it looks a little bit tan, as though I have some highlighted makeup on. I do not. And here, I have a couple of scars now. What happened about 2 weeks ago, right there was a pink little, just a pink little mark, and it was itchy. And I looked in the mirror, and there was 2 little dots, as though I got bit by something. Couldn't figure out what it was. It just got itchy, and it blew up, and it was just crazy. And I'm sitting there trying to figure out what that was. So I went to the doctor. I went to the local El Quickie, you know, the little satellite offices of hospital care. I can't think of what you call that. But anywho, I went there. And they said it was because of nerves, according to them, and stress. It was kind of like a heat rash of sorts. The heat, stress, not getting enough sleep. That would be me right here. And so they gave me some medications for the symptoms, and everything shrunk back down. But I was left with kind of like scarring. So not sure if that's going to dissipate or not. It's been very interesting. I mean, I've been making videos all the way through, wanting to go like this. But as you all know, I'm very transparent, and I'm just going to tell you. So anywho, I do believe I'm supposed to start out with the foundation, which will pump out. Yeah, that's pretty scary when you look in the mirror and you see it looks like a mosquito bite, but then it gets in the shape of an egg, and then you start breaking out, you know. You don't mind it on any other part of your body where you can hide it. But when it is front and center, it just says, "Hi, everybody, look at me." You know, I suffered with a lot of acne in my teen years. That was loads of fun in high school. So anywho, let me stop chit-chatting and just go ahead. I'm looking at the Oh, the face makeup to the face makeup, the face mirror to the side. I don't know why I'm fumbling all over my words. Now, it tends to sink into that scar right there. So anyway, I'm sure there's probably a product for scars. Makeup gurus and experts galore out there. If you know something that does cover scarring that you can kind of pat on there, let me know in the comments below once this hangout becomes a video. How y'all doing out there? I'm hanging in there. I went to go over to the Dollar Tree. I forgot what I needed. I needed something. And I go in and my debit card for the second time was declined. And I'm like, I know exactly what's in there. So I went on ahead and used something else. And so I finally called the bank. And I think you remember me telling you how the car people, the rental car people went in and took that money. Well, they said, well, check with them and get back to us, you know, as far as what you would like to do here. I never got back with them because I just settled to the fact that, you know, they wouldn't give it back. No big deal. Y'all know I worked the overtime, pow, took care of it. Done, and end of the conversation. What did it say? End of the conversation. So until I did not contact them back, they basically shut my card off. Let's just put it that way. I can't think of an eloquent way of saying that. Disabled your card or whatever. So with one simple click, everything's back in business. So you try to go to the Dollar Tree, then you end up on the phone in the parking lot with your windows down, because when I first got in the car, I kid you not, 109 degrees in the car. I'm like, oh. So I opened the windows, opened up the back hatch, let the air flow through. So anyways, this is just the, blah, 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 blah. It is the LA, have mercy. I want to say this correctly. The LA Colors Liquid Makeup BLM 313 in the color of tan. And I have found out of all the foundations, this goes on nice and smooth like butter. And it has, for me and my skin, for me, really good coverage and unbelievable with an quote unquote very inexpensive brand. You know, some of the time, and some of you ladies know this, an inexpensive brand and certain makeup products will work better for you or cover better for you. You know, so you can pick and choose. You know, you girls know this. You can have an El Cheapo brand for this, a very pricey brand for that, and just combine that together and get your face together. It doesn't really matter. Who's going to run up to you? What foundation is that? Oh my gosh, are you wearing LA Colors? No one's going to know. And it should not matter. It should not matter if you have your entire face made up with Dollar Tree products, or if you're going to Macy's or whatever it is. You know, if you like makeup and you have to go on ahead and get the inexpensive products, run right ahead and do so. Do not worry about someone's opinion on that. So anyways, as you girls know, I just put it all over the face. Try not to go too thick. It did fair in covering that. I've always had bangs because of the crinkly forehead action, so I usually have a little bit of bang anyway, so it didn't bother me. Do you know when I was 19 years old or 18, how many of you can attest to this? You would have just broke down, oh my gosh, I got a pimple, I can't go to the prom, I can't go with my friends, and you got this itty-bitty little thing, mountain to molehill deal. You got this itty-bitty little mark on your face, and you're like, oh my God, it's the end of the world. Remember that? I remember that. I mean, I had pimples here and a lot here. Yeah. And then I had my 1970s owl glasses. and my wiry hair. That was a really smooth, cute combination, kind of like Ugly Betty. I look like Ugly Betty. You know the TV show Ugly Betty? I look just like that, minus the braces. Yes, I did. I got to look through and find some pictures for you. And then I was telling you about the scar, which you probably can't see good. It's here and on the bottom lip as well. You know, got cut here and here when I actually fell kind of on the edge of the curb. Yes, I did. And when I do it, I go full force. And then for the powder to kind of set that, I have the glasses so I can see what it is. The LA Colors Loose Powder Medium, BLP 101. Yes, this is very helpful, ladies. So, you know, you have the powder, looks like this. I got this at Rose's for $2. Yes, $2. And I know some of y'all are cringing at the El Cheapo and saying, well, maybe not saying, but maybe thinking, well, you know, if you get you know, a more pricey product, you know, you're gonna have better quality, this, that, and the other thing. But for this stage, yes, I'm actually going to use a brush. Try not to get into shock, powdering all over the place. But anywho, might have dipped too deep. But anyways, I'm going to try to do it this way. We're going to try. Let me step back a little bit, or slide back a little bit. What are you all doing? I have to go in tonight and start my work week again. It's a continual vicious cycle. About 85 to 90% of you know exactly what I'm talking about. As you go back into your work week, you take a deep breath. You go into work mode mentality. You go into the kind of mentality of a survival mentality if your workplace is volatile because of one knucklehead that you're dealing with every day. The one person in the cubicle or few cubicles over, if you're in an office situation, that is pretty well favored. And maybe even you do work they get credit for it, so on and so forth. Nothing new under the sun, girls. We all have to deal with something. You take it to your Heavenly Father. You pre-pray the evening before and on your way out the door, just before you step out the door. I ask for patience. And I say, Lord, help me to love this person. Teach me, give me a very thick skin. So on and so forth. And that Holy Ghost is sent ahead of you. And sometimes by the time you get there, things are a lot better than what you thought they would be for that day. And even if it is difficult, something within you, there is a supernatural Holy Ghost peace that will just reign within your soul. And you can just deal and say to yourself, you know, I am not going to allow myself to be intimidated. I'm going to treat you with love, but I am going to respectfully stand up for myself. There's a fine balance there. No, you don't want to jump over the cubicle and dive. You don't want to do that. Don't do that. No, don't do that. Have you ever said, have you ever sat there, if you're doing something repetitive and and someone's kind of irritating and you envision yourself diving, you know? No, y'all never do that. I gotta stop. I have people diving in over cubicles all over the we have the artisan color baked plum in the color for the blush. It's the plum sorbet 8313. And that's what it looks like. I have a little chandelier deal going on. I got that on, and I've got the window blinds open, so there's light in my face so you can kind of see me. I realize in the bedroom you wouldn't be able to see my face quite so good. So why am I on here live? Why am I putting makeup on my face and talking to you? Because I feel like doing that. I just do. I just feel like talking to you. I told you this was my outlet for conversation. Thank you all so very much for your positive comments. And most of all, thank you so much for your prayers. Thank you so much. So we've done the blush. Now what's next? The Plum Sorbet, the Artisan Color Baked Plum Sorbet 8313 blush. Put that to the side. Just trying to be a little more organized, girls. That's all I'm trying to do. This time around, I actually remembered the lip liner. It is the Natural Glow in the color Rosewood. Believe it or not, I sharpened this thing and I put it in the refrigerator. Why did you put it in the refrigerator? Because it was so hot in here, it just started to get kind of soft and lose its shape. And I know that sounds insane, but I put the, I keep calling it eyeliner. It's not eyeliner. I know I'm saying the wrong thing. But anyways, because they're kind of waxy in consistency, they're melty and they melt. They wilt. So anywho, let's see. Eyebrow. Yeah, your eyebrow. Eyebrow pencil. Is that the right thing? Yeah, eyebrow pencil. I know some of y'all are like, this woman don't even know what she's... No, I don't know what I'm doing. Anywho, that's what it looks like. I got sort of this red tone one, and I think... Can't remember. So, as you girls know, this is simply applied to stop the bleed, to define and have a nice shape. If you have a little bit of scarring or your lips are imperfect, it helps you to draw that in, to give it a nice shape. If this side of your lip is a little thinner and that's a little bit higher or lower, you can kind of define, you know. It does help. I would say, yeah, it helps. I usually, a good portion of the time, will not use a lip liner. But there is a little bit of a break because of the scar on my lip right there. And it does help. I've had a lot of, I woke up this morning thinking about a lot of things. I used to wake up stressing about work. I would start stressing about work before going to bed on Sunday night. I couldn't even relax and enjoy watching a video, that churning in my stomach. But a lot of that has been lifted up and out of me, praise Almighty God. A lot of that has been lifted up and out. For the one fella, I actually, I'll tell you what he did. When the machinery stops temporarily for whatever reason, and a mechanic comes in, there's two places that you can go. You know, you can go to the part of the line which can run, but the parts that come to us can be put into boxes and then be re-put back on the belt and come to us. So there's two places. And I know this. So the machinery, this happened weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, whatever the time frame was. It stopped. So I'm going to go grab my bag of junk and go over and help someone else. I know what to do. Before, I just barely was reaching for my bag. Hey, go over there. Just like that. I'm not saying it as loudly as I could. Why would I want to do that to you? And I just kind of froze. I just kind of froze. And I thought about it. I went over there and I started to work, and I thought about it. Now, am I going to say anything There's a pivotal moment. Are you going to say anything, and what are you going to say? So I walked over to him and I said, look, I understand that I'm supposed to go over that. I know that. But I don't appreciate you yelling at me like that. His response was, I didn't holler at you. I didn't holler at you. My smart aleck response was, what is this, an episode of Hee Haw? That should have stayed in my head. He was not happy when I said that. Yeah, it was bad. So, for about a week and a half, he would not say a word to me. I suspect that I am one of the first persons to confront in a careful way. I think I did fair. Maybe the hee-haw comment wasn't appreciated. BR549, you know. There were no shows on TV on Sunday night. Mama would have us sitting there. We'd be watching hee-haw. Y'all remember that? Some of y'all won't admit it. Admit it, fess up. There were no other TV shows. It was that or football or whatever. But anyways, I love Minnie Pearl. Love her. But anyways, I digress. Tearing up at the thought of the, yeah, sometimes my mouth would get me in so much trouble. The problem is you got a person in their 30s. And what am I going to be, 56, 4 years from 60? Go over there! I'm like, it felt like my son was yelling at me like that, you know? And when I look at him, even though, you know, he's in his later 30s, I look at him like he's my son. And I did not appreciate someone younger yelling at me and people turning around and looking at it. I said, well, if I allow you to yell at me like that and treat me that way, then others feel they have permission to do the same thing. You feel what I'm saying? So there's a way to respond, but, you know, I thought about it for a millisecond. I said, I got to say something, because he'll always think that he can talk to me like that, you know, and I did not appreciate it. Anywho, we got the lip liner on. You know, I was supposed to do the brows first. This was my prize mail. Thank you, Natural Luxe Diva. And someone had asked about the lippie, which is the Le Rouge Givenchy Couture Edition, number 205, Fuchsia Irresistible. I really, I don't know about the name, Fuchsia Irresistible. Anyway, that is what it looks like. See, there's the nail color. I guess they go together quite well. So we apply. Well, as the title says, it's Makeup a Face and Chit Chat. So if I go a little off to the deep end, please forgive me. And of course, you know, I think he said something about, okay. He went to say something. I put my hand up, like, and then he said, okay. Okay. It was a comical situation. That could have been a YouTube video. Just like when I was in Wally World, when I went there yesterday. And you know, Sunday nights at Wally World, you know, in the city, there is a line. I mean, there are all these lines and they're all long. And you might as well just get in line, because you're going to have to wait. Accept the wait and deal. And just be cool. You're going to have your turn and you'll be done. Now, if you have that kind of attitude before you go into the store, it won't bother you that much. Talking about younger being rude to older. So I'm standing there, there's a man in front of me, and here comes this little girl. I think she was about 11. She comes and she wants to get by me. She doesn't say anything, she just kind of looks at me. And I step back and she just kept walking with her head up like this. No, she didn't say excuse me. You know, I'm not expecting anyone to kiss my bum or anything like that. But Mama taught me, if you want to get by somebody, you say, excuse me. I do love this lip color. It is beautiful. And yes, some of you that have the, let's just say the better quality products know the difference, you know, between something that is, you know, more on the pricier side, a better quality, and something that is not as good a quality. And with this, the more pricier product, try to see, I can't see beyond my hands. You see the less expensive and the pricey side by side, and you can tell that that is a lot smoother. This takes a few extra swipes to get it to be full coverage, but there's nothing wrong with this at all. And also, some of you already know this, if you take that lip liner and you put it all over your lips, I know there's something you can put on your lips before lippy, I think, but if you put the lippy on and kind of swipe it across, cover your whole lip, that less expensive product will stick a little bit better, in my humble opinion. At least it does for me. So there are ways to kind of overcome some of the negative qualities of a cheaper makeup. You know, Jane and John Doe's want to look pretty too. Anyways, that is, let's see, that is La Lippie. And if you want to see the lippy nail combination, here we go like this. I'm not trying to look cute, I'm just trying to show you them together. The more expensive one does go on very, very smooth. And then, let's see, usually other things. If you're wondering why I'm dealing with the curl, I have to rest my hair from that hair dryer. And when I use the flat iron, you gotta rest it. You gotta oil it. You gotta take care of it. If I don't, you know, it's not good. It'll break off. You know, you gotta be careful. And the curl doesn't look too bad. I call it my curly fro on the go. And what was I going to do? Oh yeah, the eyebrows. And this is the pencil that I got at Wally World. I think it's a I can't think of the brand right now. But here, see, there you have the brows. There's nothing on there. They're really thin. I think they go from here, like about here back. I don't have I know I probably could create an arched shape if I shave them all the way off. Just about shaved off. Sorry, I'm being extremely wordy. I apologize, but it's just how I am. I gotta try to correct myself. So it's like I told y'all before, I can feel, I'm actually feeling the hair. You can feel it. And I try to come like there, end of here to there. I don't want to go over here for me and my face and just my face. You do whatever it is that you're comfortable with and makes you what you enjoy. I don't, for me, I just can't handle the thought for me of my brows going up into my forehead. For me, I think that looks kind of weird. I think I would look weird. And I think y'all would have something to say about that. Which is fine. You take the bad with the good. And there would be two people, my phone would ring. Girl, what are you doing with them brows? So I can actually feel those little hairs. And it's like, I see it's thin there. It's thin right here. You ever do one's darker and one's lighter? You get out in the light. Ah! I've done that. Trust me, you can hear the Bozo the Clown music in the background of my entire makeup life. I kid you not. Because what happens when you're young, you're about 12 or 13 years old. You get the little magazines, you know, back then it was like Tiger Beat and all those little kitty magazines with your favorite heartthrob guy on there, you know. For me, it was David Cassidy. Was it David? Yeah, David Cassidy of the Partridge Family. Remember him? And Donny Osmond. Y'all remember him? I'm sure you do. You know. Don't know why I thought those big teeth looked good in Donny Osmond's mouth, but I thought they looked good when I was about 12. You know. So anyway, you start looking at those magazines, and then you start seeing like the glamour magazines. And back then, some of y'all will not know who these people are because you're young, if there's any young people watching. Cheryl Tiegs. Do you remember Cheryl Tiegs, anybody? Remember where everyone's talking about the natural look now, but in the 70s, maybe the early 80s, there was this natural movement. You would apply the makeup in such a way that, you know, not a lot of blush, a tan or pale lipstick, and if you you know, your hair was bone straight instead of having the big 80s hair, you know. And Cheryl Tiegs was up front with that. You know, she was the model of, you know, the model of the moment. Let's just say that. Make that up right here. Model of the moment. And now, I don't know who the model of the moment. I just was so happy to see, you know, quite frankly, a woman of color, Iman. I was so happy to see her. And what's the other lady? Oh, please come to my mind. When we started to see, you know, products, you know, for women of color. There were products, but they're pretty harsh, you know. But we made do, you know, by, you know, mixing two different foundations together. You know, when you're offered something very dark and you are like a tan color or a caramel color, you're mixing and matching, trying to get the right foundation. We did a lot of mixing and matching to try to get it, you know. So, but now there are a Beverly Johnson. Beverly Johnson. I'm thinking that Beverly Johnson, I don't know if she was the first African-American model on the cover of Vogue or Glamour. I think it was Vogue. And oh man, back in the housing projects where I was raised, that was a big deal to many of us. Oh, my goodness gracious. But anyways, I digress. Going down memory lane, my face is just oozing through shiny. But anyways, I digress as usual. So, and now there are makeup for all different shades. If you are biracial, you know, if you have an olive complexion, a lot of the Italian ladies and Hispanic ladies have an olive complexion, which my eldest sister has. I have a little bit of that. But I think I'm the Heinz 57 daughter. You know, they have just kind of one color. I got, you know, we have two different dads. So I've got this weird blending where it's light and a little tan. And anyways, I don't want to talk about me anymore. So anyway, girls, that is as best as Granny can get it. And then we have the oversized El Cheapo earrings. And I wanted to talk about this. Now, Carla, Miss Carla Tellis at iCloud.com. I don't know if you still have that open. This is called Bellissima Crema. Miss Carla, I want to tell you something. You saved my face. Yes, you did. Why am I saying that? Because when my face, it was like right here, it was just blowed up, blowed up, as we say, and once that shrunk back down and the scars fell off and everything, in that process, when I still had the scar, I'm trying to figure out what to do. I knew I had to put an oil type of product on my skin so that as it healed, there wouldn't be so much of a scar showing. So the Lord brought me to my dresser. I know this is going to sound crazy, but over a year ago, I think it was around Christmas time, Miss Carla, you sent this to me. And within it, I'm just going to read. Almond oil, grapeseed oil, jojoba or jojoba, jojoba oil, argan oil, rosehip oil, sunflower oil, emu oil, coconut oil, chamomile, and lemon essential oils, vitamin E, excuse me, rose water and distilled water, aloe vera gel, beeswax, all organic ingredients for day use. Keep at a cool temperature. Let me tell you something, ladies, for me and my skin. The minute I put this on the scars, which were kind of itchy and very, very uncomfortable, I just smoothed some out. For my particular heat rash, instant relief. And everything just started to heal rather quickly. Yes, it did. I give credit where credit is due. Ain't no hiding nothing. But this is an amazing thing. So I'm thinking to myself, I know coconut oil can be used in your hair, can be used on your skin. But when I saw all the different oils in this, oh, would you open it up and show it to us? I'm so sorry. Like this. There's my hand. Leaves kind of a little shine to it. And it smells really, really good. Not perfumey, but the natural oils smell really good combined. I don't know if she's going to be watching, but I'll tell you what. Isn't it amazing? Sometimes by accident you discover things. You discover a dual use for something. And if I find something that helps me, I'm just gonna tell y'all. So I started thinking about the combination. Some of you know about this. I'm pretty sure that Mama Rosa knows all about the different oils. She's got a lot of natural ways of dealing with her skin. I'm dealing with your skin, but to apply to the skin, And in person, Mama Rosa looks like she's 20. Trust me. So I'm thinking the combinations of those oils. A granny needs to start looking into going into the natural food store and picking up some of these things and trying to combine them to help myself. And so I said to myself, I told you about the little disagreement I had with I'm going to go back a little bit, the little disagreement I had with that guy and so on and so forth. Just all that stress came right out of my face. So does stress, worry, and concern, can you break out? Yes, you can. This happened to me the last time I had to do a Rolodex. And remember, the last time that happened to me, I was about 11 years old. I remember it distinctly because my mother took me to the hospital. She didn't know what to do with me. My face blew up. And so I go there, and back in the day, they had the little curtain things, and I'm sitting there. And the doctor comes in, he looks at my face. When I woke up that morning, I had rings on. And the first thing, I opened one eye, my hand was in my face. My rings, my hand was so blown up, you could hardly see the ring. My ring were really tight. And then I went over and looked in the mirror, and I have hooded eyes. These things are just, like a cartoon. And it was just pink and itchy. So, like I said, I was about 10 or 11 years old. Came in, the doctor gave me a shot. I don't know if it was cortisone or something. This doctor, the minute he slid that needle in an instant, everything shrunk back down. Just like it was like a miracle, like that. So, and the doctor I went to, as far as this is concerned, said stress, lack of sleep, you know, these kinds of things. So don't try your best not to get yourself upset at a situation. Try your best not to blow a situation up in your mind, you know, out of proportion. Don't let someone else upset you to the point you get like what I had. And, you know, I did a little bit of research and a little bit of reading or something like this, you know, trying to understand what goes into my body and stuff like this. And one of the things I read was that would be my mirror. That would be my mirror, which is sitting inside of this thing so I could look at my makeup. Y'all know I'm too transparent at times, you know what? But I believe in trying my best to keep it as real as possible. Y'all know that. Anyways, I guess I should stop for now. I feel like there's something else I wanted to say, but for the goodness gracious, I can't remember what it is. I know I was all over the place, but I don't know what this is lately. I feel the sense to communicate with you. And yes, you're in my prayers, each and every one of you. And someone in the comments section had asked me to pray for them, and I said yes, I would. And I am. I did, and I am every day. When it pops up in my mind, sometimes it's 3, 4, and 5 times a day. You know, it's kind of like you're going along and you're doing something, and maybe a relative pops in your mind. My son will come in my mind, my grandbabies. I stop for a moment and I pray. Yes, I do. I'm thinking, well, if I'm just doing something ordinary and you maybe pop in my head, maybe it's necessary that I do that. You know. The other, oh, right quick. Of course, you already know that I love the body fantasies vanilla. You know that I really like that. About $11 at Walgreens. The other thing that I've been complimented on a few times at work, and really by strangers in the store, is this lippie. And I think I showed this to you before. It's a Milani Haute, Haute. Let me see. Yes. And it's a 101, and I love the ironicness of it being called Hot Flash. And it is on the orangey, reddish kind of a tone, but when I wear it, people kind of like it. They like it. So I thought I'd share that with you. I don't know where. Yeah, it's the Milani. I think maybe at the Dollar Tree. Got the little gold top to it. I liked it so much. You know. And the other thing was the inexpensive, the LA colors. And I tried to read this. BL823. I really like this color. It's similar to this. Kind of like a rosy color. And y'all know I like the red tones. I guess that is what I wanted to share. I tried to remember everything, you know, before I turn this thing on. I don't like to pre-plan too hard. Why? Because I want to be as real as possible. You know what I'm saying? I don't like, let's just say I that's just how I like to be. Alrighty. Thank you all so very much for your patience with me and prattling on. I love you, and I'm going to see you right quick on the next one. I have something else that I'd like to share, but in a regular video. Love you.